Hi, this is Steve Book. I would like to talk about how to achieve creating sitar-like sounds using GTR. First, I'll play a track I created, and then we will go through on what effects you can add to your guitar sound to give it that buzzy sitar sound. Okay, first off, I'd like to play you just the dry guitar sound. So here are the effects that I'm using, and I'm going to turn them all off and then show you the amp setting. I used a clean punchy sound, and I cut some bass and a little bit of mid, and I'm boosting the treble and presence to thin out the sound. And this is just the dry guitar. Now let's add the effects. So first up, we have a graphic EQ, and I'm greatly cutting the low end and some mid, but I'm boosting the 250 just to give it a little bit of body. And I'm also greatly boosting 2K and 4K to thin out the sound and accentuate the higher end. So here it is with just the graphic EQ. Next up, I added a set of flangers. The flanger is what's really going to give it that swirly, buzzy sitar sound. I added a second flanger to even further accentuate that sound, and you can hear it actually goes even deeper into a sitar sound. I then added the reverb effect, not so much to give it a reverb ambience as you normally would, but to simulate the natural sound of the sitar resonating with the gourd. So here it is with the reverb added. Finally, I used the Express effect to give it a little bit of a volume and presence boost. I also created an additional track to simulate the sympathetic strings. A sitar is composed of about 16 to 20 strings, and 6 or 7 of these strings are over the fretboard and the remainder are under the frets. These remaining strings are much lighter gauge and will ring out sympathetically and can also be plucked. The sympathetic strings have a higher pitched, thinner buzzy sound and are generally tuned to the notes of the raga being performed. For this, I am playing an E major 9 chord all the way up at the 12th fret to simulate the higher pitched sound. As you can see, I have the same effects loaded, but I also added the doubler effect to make it sound like there's more going on than just a few strings that I'm playing, as I'm trying to simulate a bunch of strings being played. I also adjusted the EQ and I cut out all of the low end and just boosting the highs, and I adjusted the reverb to give it more of a mix so you can have more of a resonant sound. So this is what the sympathetic strings sound like, and I'll do it without the doubler first. So you can hear it's an even thinner sound, and with the doubler, you can hear that will just add a little bit of something. Okay, so now let's play the whole track once again with the playing strings and the sympathetic strings. And there you have it. I hope this has been helpful, and definitely experiment with different settings that will suit the tracks you're working on. Also, keep in mind that to get this to sound as authentic as possible, play appropriately for what would normally be played on a sitar. Thanks for watching, and feel free to contact me with any questions at info@stevebook.com or through Facebook.